Hey guys, you already know what it is. It's what if Deku was cross sounds. So, part. It's what if Deku was cross sounds part 4? Yeah, 4. If I'm not correct, I left off. Kara and him were about to clash into another battle, and the two swordsmen clash, blocking, attacking, countering each other's moves. Where slash for slash, cut for cut, stab for stab, till they jump back from each other. Both of their eyes flame with energy. Their swords glow brighter, and they charge, unleashing their most powerful attacks. And then they collide, and when the smoke clears, both blades are stuck in the ground, handle up. And what do we see but a new warrior kneeling. He rises, cross around. Deku rises, grabs both blades and puts them on his back. And yes, they had just fused, because their energies basically replying on connected, and they kind of fused each other together. It's logic. And with Kara being in his head, he got all his memories. So that means he found out that he was fighting his brother this whole bloody time. And now Kara is basically a voice in his head, more or less. But he got a big upgrade. Like, his eye is regularly glowing red now. When he gets really serious, his other eye glows purple. and he gets to wield his original blade and Kara's blade. So he got a big upgrade from this. And he also has override. Basically, I took Kara and I took Deku and I fused them together and I gave them all their powers. So that's basically what's happening. And Kara is not evil anymore. She was mostly along for the ride. He was mostly along for the ride. But I'm pretty sure he's gonna take family over the League of Villains. Yeah. So training camp's done. What's next? What's after training camp? Attack on the villains. Basically, Deku was asked to go on the attack with the villains. Attack against the villains. So they, let's say they did grab Bakugo during training camp because of plot. And, yeah, so they're there, and they come smashing through the door. Through the wall, and they restrain the villains for a little bit, but then All For One teleports them all the way. And then as All Might runs off to the other location, and Deku teleports there, they see All For One. Deku's like, yeah, and then he's about to run at him with his swords. And then All Might's like, no, this is my fight. Then All Might jumps at him and gets launched. It's going back and forth and back and forth. And then All Might's about to lose, and Deku's like, okay, I think it's my turn to come in. He draws his swords. Both eyes, not just one, both of his eyes glow purple and red. Both blades light up. He summons an X-Blaster to hover on. he's on top of the X blaster and he's hovering on it, and he summons a bunch of energy knives and he shoots them at all from one, cutting him up. So like a bunch of times they're like swarming around him, rapidly cutting him. Then he also summons swarm of X blasters, probably like 20 to 30, and he blasts them at all for one, keeping all for one back, keeping up the pressure. He jumps off the jumps off the X blaster that he's on and charges at him. In midair, Deku cuts all for one in half. He basically pulls a Darth Maul. All for one pulls a Darth Maul, and he loses his legs. And yeah, basically all for one was Darth Maul, and Deku was Obi-Wan Kenobi. The all for one got cut in half, and it was so slick too. He didn't even know he was cut in half till Deku put his blades back in their sheaths. And let's say he did he didn't cut him in half. He cut his legs off, but he did. Let's say he went to jail for a short amount of time after the attack, because he kind of just did cut a man's legs off. Which I think is a dumb reason to go to jail. Yeah, you cut his legs off, but he's the #1 villain and a threat to all humanity. So, but he does get out in a few days because UA bails him out. Because it's dumb that he has to go to jail because he just saved the #1 hero. What's next? Work studies, right? Okay. He goes in through his work studies. He gets one for Night Eye, because Night Eye is very interested in this quirk to see exactly what it can do. Because before, he could probably figure it out. He could summon those blaster things, bones, and swords, and his eye would glow red. But after the training camp, it got more interesting, as in, one eye glowed red, the other one glowed purple. He could still summon the blasters, but he could summon way more energy knives than he could before. And he came back with 2 swords, one glowing red and one purple. So Night Eye kind of wants to know what's happening. So Deku shows up at a Night Eye's office, and him and Night Eye make a deal to get into Night Eye's work study. Sorry about that, guys. Basically the deal is he has to beat Mirio to get into the work study. So they go to the little gym place, and they about to start the fight. And once it starts, Mirio dives into the ground, and Deku pulls a new move. His red sword, he jams it into the ground, and the entire stadium floor lights up red, and then Mirio comes shooting out of it, not of his own free will. Deku forced him out of the ground, and then the ground began to rupture and break. He caused a mini earthquake in that one arena. And then he shot, and then he did energy slashes with his other blade, with his purple blade. Then he pulls his red sword out of the ground still being fractured and broken. Deku rushes at him. He broke the ground to force him out of the ground, and to disturb his laying of the land. It was a flat land at first, but now that it's rigid and going everywhere, it's real messed up. It's a real slanted flooring, which gives Deku the advantage because he's used to that. He's used to fighting on rough terrain, so he runs at. He jumps up to hover on an X blaster. Basically, what he was doing during the All for One fight. But he's not gonna cut Mirio in half. No, he's not. That's student. That's different. He would actually go to jail for this if he did cut him in half. But he's not. He summons a swarm of purple energy knives and launches them at Mirio. Some actually cutting him on some of these. But remember, he has to get a cut with his red blade to, take control of them. So he runs out. He jumps down from his caster blaster, his X blaster, I mean. And he comes down, like blade down. He's coming blade down. So he hits the ground. He lands on the ground with the blades in the dirt. He turns around, spins back around, and slashes at Mirio. And he keeps slashing. Mirio is still using his quirk to, try to resist the damage. But Mirio falters up. Deku pulls a trick. He slashes at Mirio on one place with his blade, and then Deku uses his red blade to cut him on his leg. And then Deku, using his corruption ability, he takes control of Mirio. Mirio's skin, Mirio goes pale. A giant X appears around on his torso. His eye comes clouded by this corrupted looking aura. Yeah. And then Deku just snaps his fingers. Mirio went to sleep, and him hitting his face on the ground knocked him out of his corruption. Nana's shocked that he actually beat Mirio, because Mirio's top at the strongest student at UA, and Deku just beat him. He was very shocked. So, with that out of the way, he got into the work study. He's on patrol, and he's they're walking down the sidewalk, and Kara is talking in his head, and he's like, they're just trying to get to know each other. They're kind of basically talking, Deku's talking in his head, and Kara can hear his thoughts, so they're basically talking like that. And Deku's not really paying attention, and he walks in front of an alleyway. And he gets bumped in the leg by a little girl. And he kneels down to see if she's okay, and helps her out. But she looks terrified. She has bandages from on her arms and legs, maybe even her torso. And Deku's like, "Get behind me." And he sees Overhaul coming out of the alleyway. Both of his eyes glow purple and red. He draws his blades, getting ready to fight this dude, because Nade already explained who Chisaki was. Overhaul, you are under, and Deku starts reading Overhaul's rights. You are under arrest. And then what's his face? Overhaul's like hell I am, and he touches he touches the ground. Spikes shoot up. And Deku signals all the civilians to get out of the way. And then Deku runs at him, cutting through the stone like it's nothing. His blades start to glow. He slams his red blade into the ground. The ground starts to glow red and fracture, finish, explode, and rupture. Then he rushes at him, summoning a swarm of knives behind him, throwing and launching them in an Overhaul, pinning him to the wall by his hands and feet. And Overhaul is captured by all the pros. Gentle criminal thing. He basically got a cut on Gentle and corrupted him and made him go to sleep. And that's it for What If Deku Was Cross Sounds. And before I end this video off, the next What If that I'm starting up, after this one is What If Deku Was Echo Sounds. And if you don't know who Echo Sounds is, just look him up. He's easy to find. But just look out for that. What If Deku Was Echo Sounds. But make sure to like, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next part. Peace.